When you step into the gym, you're not just lifting weights, you're lifting your mindset. Every rep, every drop of sweat, every aching muscle is molding you into someone stronger, tougher, and more disciplined than before. This is not just about building a body, it's about building a man who doesn't run from pain, doesn't bow to weakness, and doesn't let excuses win. This is where comfort dies and the warrior inside you wakes up. The moment you stop training for attention and start training for respect, that's when you enter a man mode. It's not about showing off, it's about showing discipline. It's about fighting your own laziness, your own limits, your own comfort zone until nothing soft remains. You're not here to be average, you're here to become unstoppable. Discipline is the dividing line between ordinary and extraordinary. Every man faces that silent war each morning, the war between comfort and purpose. Comfort whispers, stay in bed, rest a little more. While discipline commands, rise, it's time to build. The comfort zone is soft, but it traps you in weakness. Discipline is sharp, but it molds you into strength. Every rep, every early morning, every clean meal is a small act of war against comfort. And the man who wins that war daily becomes unstoppable. When you enter the gym, your mind must lead before your body follows. You can't rely on motivation because motivation fades the moment things get hard. Discipline stays when the fire of motivation dies. It's the quiet voice that tells you to pick up the bar even when your arms ache, to finish that last set even when your lungs burn. Discipline doesn't need applause or recognition. It's between you and your creator, a test of how far you can go when no one is watching. Comfort gives you nothing but regret in disguise. It promises rest but delivers weakness. Discipline, on the other hand, breaks you in the moment but builds you for a lifetime. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you earn a new level of respect for yourself. That's how men grow, not by doing what feels easy, but by doing what's necessary. Every bead of sweat is a small victory. Every ache is a reminder that progress requires price. There will be days when your body refuses to move, when your mind tells you you've done enough. Those are the days that define you. The world is full of men who gave up when it got uncomfortable. But discipline doesn't allow that. Discipline doesn't care about mood, about pain, or about excuses. Discipline teaches you to act because your purpose demands it, not because you feel like it. When others rest, discipline makes you rise again and again. You'll notice that comfort tries to disguise itself as peace. It tells you you've worked enough, you deserve a break. But peace doesn't come from rest, it comes from achievement. Real peace is the calm that follows struggle. It's the satisfaction of knowing you gave everything you had, even when you didn't feel like it. That's what discipline gives you, earned peace, not borrowed comfort. A man who chooses comfort once will find it easier to choose it again. Slowly, comfort takes command and discipline becomes a memory. That's why you must guard your habits like treasure. The small choices matter: waking up on time, controlling your food, staying consistent. They seem minor, but together they form the backbone of greatness. Discipline is built through these small acts repeated daily until they become instinct. True discipline isn't about punishment, it's about respect. Respect for your time, your body, your goals, and your trust from Allah. When you train, you're not torturing your body, you're teaching it obedience. You're reminding yourself that your willpower is greater than your desires. Each moment you choose discipline, you strengthen your spirit and weaken your ego. The gym is just a mirror for life. If you're lazy in the gym, you'll be lazy in your goals. If you're disciplined in your training, you'll be disciplined in your responsibilities. The same mindset that makes you complete your last rep will make you push through life's hardest challenges. The man who builds discipline in his body builds discipline in his soul. Remember, comfort is the language of weakness, and discipline is the dialect of kings. Those who live in comfort chase shortcuts, but those who live in discipline build empires silently, steadily, one rep at a time. Every decision you make today is shaping your destiny tomorrow. The question is simple: will you choose comfort or will you choose control? Because man mode begins when comfort ends. When you no longer negotiate with your excuses, you enter a realm few can understand. Discipline becomes your identity. You stop looking for motivation because you have become it. And every day, as you move through the pain and sweat, you build a version of yourself that commands respect, not from others, but from the mirror staring back at you. Controlled aggression is not wild anger, it's focused fire. It's the ability to channel your inner storm toward a purpose. Every man has rage buried deep inside, not the destructive kind, but the type born from disappointment, failure, and untapped potential. The gym becomes the battlefield where that aggression finds direction. You take the weight that once crushed you and press it with power, not because you're angry at the world, but because you refuse to remain weak within it. Aggression without control destroys. Control without aggression lacks power, but when both unite, they forge strength that commands respect. The wolf doesn't roar to prove strength. He moves silently with intent, using aggression only when needed. That's how a man should train, with intensity that doesn't rely on chaos, but thrives on precision. Every rep becomes a release. Every drop of sweat a message that you've mastered your emotions instead of being ruled by them. Inside the gym, controlled aggression is what separates effort from domination. It's what makes your last set different from the man beside you. You're not just lifting weights, you're lifting burdens, doubts, and fears that tried to chain you down. That barbell becomes a symbol of everything you've survived. When you attack each set with discipline and fire, you're not just building muscle, you're building character, forging a warrior mindset that refuses defeat. This aggression must not spill into arrogance. It's not about yelling, flexing, or comparing yourself. It's about focus. The most dangerous man in the gym isn't the loudest. It's the one who trains in silence, eyes locked, breathing steady, muscles trembling from intensity, yet mind calm as still water. That is controlled aggression, emotion guided by purpose, energy steered by clarity. It's not chaos, it's command. A true man in control of his aggression knows when to unleash it and when to hold it back. You don't waste energy on distractions, people, or pride. You reserve it for the moments that matter, when the bar feels too heavy, when your mind screams to quit. That's when you summon the beast inside and let it do what it was created to do. Overcome, you push past your limits not by chance, but by will. Every time you channel your inner aggression into focus, you conquer a part of yourself. Controlled aggression turns pain into progress. You stop seeing fatigue as a barrier and start seeing it as a test. The more it hurts, the more you push. The more resistance you face, the more you refine your power. You no longer react emotionally, you respond strategically. That's what separates the weak from the strong. The ability to use emotion as fuel, not as fire to burn everything down. When you walk into the gym, you must carry the mindset of a predator, calm, composed, and ready. The weights are not your enemies, they are your opponents. And every rep is a battle you must win with precision, not rage. Your aggression must serve you, not rule you. It should give you energy, not cloud your judgment. That's why the strongest men in the world are the calmest, They have mastered their flame instead of being consumed by it. Every great transformation begins with a man learning to master himself. You cannot command your environment if you cannot command your emotions. The same energy that once made you impatient, frustrated, or reactive can become your greatest weapon when controlled. Controlled aggression turns doubt into drive, fear into focus, and weakness into willpower. It's not about lifting more, it's about rising higher mentally, physically, and spiritually. A man who controls his aggression becomes unstoppable because he no longer fights against himself. The internal war is over. The energy that once destroyed now builds. That's when true strength emerges, not from how much you can lift, but from how deeply you can focus under pressure. When you can stay calm in chaos, that's when you've become more than a lifter, you've become a leader. And as you move through your sets with every repetition powered by controlled aggression, you begin to understand that strength is not in rage, but in restraint. It's the quiet fire that burns within you, guiding every move, every breath, every lift. You don't need to prove it to anyone. You just let your work speak. The gym becomes your arena, your aggression your weapon, and your control your crown. Motivation is like a spark. It ignites you for a moment, but discipline is the steady fire that keeps burning. Long after excitement fades, many people walk into the gym filled with motivation, ready to conquer every rep. But the truth is, motivation disappears when life gets heavy. The ones who rise above are not those who wait to feel ready, but those who move forward even when they feel tired, drained, or uninspired. Discipline means doing what needs to be done, not because you feel like it, but because your purpose demands it. Discipline doesn't make noise, it's not glamorous or exciting. It's the quiet repetition of small actions done with consistency. It's waking up early when your bed feels like a trap. It's eating clean when your mind craves comfort food. It's showing up on the days when everything inside you says stay home. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be, and every time you cross it, you grow stronger not just physically, but mentally and spiritually. When you rely only on motivation, you become a slave to emotion. Some days you'll feel strong, and other days you'll feel broken. But discipline doesn't depend on emotions. It's built on commitment. The disciplined man trains when he's angry, tired, or sad because he knows his emotions are temporary, but his mission is eternal. He doesn't chase hype, he builds habits. He doesn't rely on feeling good, he relies on doing good. That's where real power lies, in action without excuse. Discipline teaches you patience. You stop expecting instant results and start respecting the process. Every rep becomes a lesson in persistence. You realize that transformation is not a single event. It's a slow burn, a collection of countless ordinary days done with extraordinary consistency. The disciplined man doesn't rush greatness, he builds it brick by brick. He knows that if he can master his habits, he can master his destiny. The gym becomes a reflection of your inner discipline. Every weight lifted, every drop of sweat, every moment of exhaustion, it all mirrors how you handle the battles outside those walls. If you can stay consistent under the bar, you can stay consistent in life. Discipline in training becomes discipline in mindset, relationships, and faith. It's not just about building muscle, it's about building a foundation of resilience that stands firm against anything life throws at you. There are days when your body will beg for rest, your mind will crave comfort, and your heart will whisper doubt. But the disciplined man answers with action. He doesn't negotiate with weakness. He knows that if he gives in today, it becomes easier to give in tomorrow. Discipline is built through resistance, not just against weights, but against temptation, distraction, and laziness. It's the muscle of the soul, strengthened every time you choose purpose over pleasure. Discipline creates structure in chaos. It keeps you grounded when motivation vanishes. It reminds you why you started when the journey feels long. It's the invisible armor that protects you from the noise of excuses. When everyone else slows down, discipline keeps you moving. When others make promises, discipline delivers results. The man with discipline doesn't need to prove his strength. His routine already does that. The power of discipline is that it transforms not just your body, but your mind. It teaches control, patience, and endurance. You begin to value consistency over perfection. You stop chasing shortcuts because you understand that true progress cannot be rushed. You stop waiting for the right moment because you realize the right moment is every moment you decide to act. Discipline becomes your identity, not your struggle. Every time you train with discipline, you silence the voice of weakness within. That voice that says not today, that tells you it's enough, becomes quieter every time you ignore it. You replace hesitation with habit and excuses with execution. Discipline is not built in comfort. It's built in those silent moments when no one is watching, and you choose to keep going anyway. That's where greatness is born, not in hype, but in habits. Discipline turns ordinary men into legends. It's the difference between a bodybuilder who gives up when tired and one who keeps going until he is done. It's the foundation of every great physique, every sharp mind, every strong spirit. When you live with discipline, you no longer depend on feelings, you depend on standards. And when standards become your compass, your progress becomes unstoppable, your focus unshakable, and your purpose undeniable. Physical strength can be measured by the weight you lift, but mental toughness is measured by the weight you carry inside and still choose to rise. It's easy to look strong on the outside, but true strength begins in the mind. The greatest athletes, the strongest men, and the most resilient warriors all share one trait: the ability to endure discomfort, to stay calm in chaos, and to keep moving when everything seems to push them backward. Mental toughness is not a gift, it's a choice you make every single day. You step into the gym and face the pain that others run from. Every rep you perform isn't just a test of muscle. It's a test of your mind's ability to resist weight. Your body follows where your thoughts lead, and when your mind grows tired, your strength fades. That's why mental toughness is built through struggle. It's not found in comfort zones or light training sessions. It's forged in the fire of fatigue, under the pressure of repetition, and through the discipline of consistency. The mind, just like the body, must be trained. Every set, every challenge, every obstacle is part of that training. Mental toughness isn't about ignoring pain, it's about understanding it. It's the awareness that pain is temporary, but quitting leaves a mark that never fades. The mind must learn to distinguish between pain that breaks and pain that builds. In every workout, there's a moment where your muscles shake, your breathing quickens, and your thoughts scream for you to stop. That's the moment where most people fail, not because their bodies give out, but because their minds give. The strong recognize that moment as a signal, not a stop sign. When you develop mental toughness, you stop negotiating with weakness. You stop seeking comfort in excuses and start finding strength in pressure. The man who trains his mind is dangerous because he becomes unshakable. He no longer reacts to tiredness or failure. He adjusts, adapts, and continues. Mental toughness teaches you that victory doesn't belong to the strongest, It belongs to the most determined, the ones who refuse to surrender when it gets hard. You build mental toughness not in one workout, but in countless small moments where you refuse to give in. When you choose to finish that last set, when you add extra weight instead of cutting corners, when you wake up early and train even after a long day, those moments form the foundation of a mind that cannot be broken. It's not about how much strength you start with, it's about how much pain you're willing to endure to grow stronger. Each time you overcome a small battle, you build armor around your mind that protects you from future weakness. Mental toughness also means mastering patience. Strength doesn't come overnight, and transformation takes time. The mind that is always rushing to see results never learns resilience. True toughness means showing up every day and trusting the process, even when progress seems invisible. It's staying focused on the journey, not the clock. It's believing that consistency will bring rewards, even if the mirror hasn't reflected them yet. A mentally tough man doesn't complain about the grind, he embraces it. He doesn't seek motivation from others because his drive comes from within. He doesn't let negativity distract him or failure discourage him. When life throws challenges his way, he treats them like heavy weights, something to lift, something to grow from. The gym becomes his training ground, not just for the body, but for the mind, a place where weakness dies and resilience is born. Mental toughness is built in silence. It doesn't need recognition, likes, or praise. It's formed in the moments where you train alone, where no one's watching, and where the only voice that pushes you forward is your own. When you can control your thoughts under fatigue, you become capable of controlling your reactions in life. When you can stay calm under pressure, you gain strength that no weight can match. That's why the strongest men aren't just physically built, they are mentally unbreakable. This strength of mind becomes your greatest weapon, because when your body can't, your mind must. The moment you think you've reached your limit, you realize it was your mind setting boundaries, not your muscles. And once you push past that mental barrier, you discover that your limits were only illusions. Every challenge becomes an opportunity, every setback a lesson, and every struggle a test of willpower that makes you sharper, stronger, and more grounded. And when you've trained your mind long enough, pain no longer feels like punishment. It feels like progress. Every drop of sweat becomes a reminder of endurance, every heavy set a reflection of inner power. Mental toughness turns fear into focus, pressure into performance, and struggle into strength. It's what separates those who dream from those who do, those who try from those who triumph. Consistency is the foundation of every strong body and every disciplined mind. It's not the big moments that create greatness. It's the small, repeated actions done day after day. The truth is, anyone can train hard once. Anyone can feel motivated for a week, but only a few have the mindset to show up every single day, even when they don't feel like it. Consistency doesn't shout. It whispers through discipline, through routine, through effort that doesn't fade when attention fades. It's the quiet force that separates those who only start from those who actually finish. Consistency means showing up even when progress feels invisible. There will be days when the mirror doesn't reflect change, when your strength doesn't feel like it's growing, and when your energy seems drained. But consistency teaches patience, the understanding that growth doesn't happen in visible leaps, but in silent layers. Every rep you do, every healthy meal you eat, every disciplined decision you make, it all adds up. The results you seek are not built in one workout. They are built in hundreds stacked together over time. The gym doesn't reward intensity alone. It rewards consistency. You can't out-train inconsistency with one good session. You can't expect lasting change from short bursts of effort. Real progress demands commitment, a commitment that doesn't depend on mood, weather, or motivation. The body grows when the mind learns to stay loyal to the process, not the outcome. That's how true transformation happens, not because of luck, but because of loyalty to your goal. Consistency also builds trust with yourself. Every time you follow through on what you said you would do, you strengthen your own belief in your ability. You start respecting your word, your schedule, your effort. You no longer break promises to yourself because you've trained your mind to deliver no matter what. That's what makes consistency powerful. It builds integrity within. You stop chasing perfection and start honoring your process. There will be days when everything feels heavy, not just the weights, but life itself. Those are the days consistency matters the most. Anyone can push when things are easy, but few can stay the course when distractions, exhaustion, or doubt appear. Consistency is not about feeling unstoppable. It's about continuing despite feeling weak. It's about showing up when the excitement fades and the grind begins. Every time you choose consistency over comfort, you become stronger in ways no mirror can show. A consistent man learns the rhythm of progress. He knows when to push hard and when to rest. He doesn't let frustration break his flow because he understands that consistency isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. You don't need to be the best every day, you just need to keep showing up. Every day you stay consistent, you move one step closer to your vision, while inconsistency pulls you backward. The gap between success and failure is often measured by who stayed consistent longer. Consistency also builds habits that outlast motivation. What starts as discipline eventually becomes automatic. The gym becomes part of your identity, not an option. You no longer have to think about whether to train. It becomes who you are. That's the power of consistency. It turns effort into instinct. Over time, you stop chasing the feeling of motivation because you've built the structure that runs even without it. When you stay consistent, the world starts to change around you. People notice your energy, your commitment, your transformation. But more importantly, you start noticing it yourself. You begin to carry yourself differently, not out of pride, but out of quiet confidence earned through repetition. You know what it took, and that knowledge becomes your strength. Consistency gives you something no one can take, the certainty that you've earned every bit of progress you have. The beauty of consistency lies in its simplicity. You don't need to do everything perfectly, you just need to do it regularly. You don't need to lift the heaviest weight, you just need to keep lifting. Every drop of sweat becomes a part of your story, every session a step forward. Over time, what once felt hard becomes natural, and what once seemed far becomes reachable. That's how the consistent man grows, not in leaps, but in layers that never stop forming. Consistency transforms effort into excellence. It teaches you that greatness isn't built overnight, but through relentless repetition. It's the invisible thread connecting every workout, every disciplined decision, every small victory. The man who stays consistent, even when no one's watching, becomes the man who eventually stands unshakable. Because while others wait for the perfect moment, he builds it one rep, one day, one step at a time. Pain is not your enemy, it's your teacher, your test, and your transformation. Every man who has ever become stronger has walked through pain. Whether it's the burn in your muscles, the ache in your bones, or the weight of discipline pressing on your mind, pain is what refines you. It strips away weakness, excuses, and hesitation. Most people run from pain, but the man who steps into it with purpose discovers his true strength. In the gym, pain is not a sign of defeat. It's proof that you're stretching your limits. Without it, there can be no progress, no power, no evolution. Pain reveals who you really are when comfort fades. Anyone can train when it's easy, when the body feels light and the spirit feels high. But pain introduces the real version of you, the one who must decide whether to quit or to endure. It's in that silent moment when no one is watching that your destiny is shaped. Every rep that hurts, every drop of sweat that burns your eyes is a conversation between your body and your will. And if your will is stronger, you rise. Pain becomes the forge where mental toughness is created. Pain doesn't just build your body, it builds your character. It teaches patience, humility, and discipline. When you embrace pain instead of avoiding it, you learn that struggle is not something to escape. It's something to master. Pain tells you that you're alive, that you're growing, that you're on the right path. The soreness after a workout, the fatigue after consistency, these are not punishments, they're signs of progress. Growth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from controlled suffering, from pushing when your body says stop, but your spirit says keep going. Every time you face pain with courage, you change. You start to understand that pain isn't permanent, it's temporary pressure preparing you for a stronger tomorrow. The man who learns to stay calm under pain becomes unbreakable. Because once you realize that pain doesn't destroy you, it frees you. You stop fearing the struggle and you start respecting it. You know that pain is the bridge between who you are now and who you're destined to become. Each rep that hurts takes you one step closer to mastery, not just of your body, but of your mind. Pain separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Many quit when it gets hard because they see pain as punishment. But the man in man mode sees it differently. He sees pain as a compass pointing toward growth. He doesn't seek comfort, he seeks challenge. Because he knows the harder the challenge, the greater the transformation. Pain is the language of progress, spoken through sweat, fatigue, and persistence. Every time you endure it, you gain something invisible: resilience, willpower, and unshakable faith in yourself. Pain trains your focus. When you lift through the burn, you stop thinking about distractions. Your mind becomes sharp, locked on the moment. Pain forces you to be present, to feel, to breathe, to fight. It silences every unnecessary thought and awakens your warrior within. That's why the most disciplined men are not those who avoid pain, but those who live through it without breaking. They know that the struggle in the gym mirrors the struggle in life, and the same strength that lifts the weight will lift them through every challenge outside the gym. Pain also reminds you of your purpose. When you feel it, you remember why you started. You remember the man you used to be and the man you're becoming. Pain makes every moment meaningful because it costs something. The soreness, the fatigue, the exhaustion, they all become signs of sacrifice, and sacrifice is sacred. Every drop of effort you give under pain becomes a prayer of discipline. You're not just training your muscles, you're training your patience, your consistency, and your faith. The truth is, pain doesn't break you, resistance does. The more you fight it, the heavier it feels. But when you accept it, when you flow with it, you take away its power to control you. You start to realize that pain is not here to stop you, it's here to strengthen you. The fire that once scared you becomes the fire that forges you. The pain that once felt unbearable becomes the very reason you're unstoppable. That's the transformation, from fearing pain to feeding on it as fuel. Pain pain teaches you gratitude. It makes you appreciate every small victory, every inch of progress, every moment of strength. When you've struggled through the hardest sets, you value the easier ones more deeply. When you've been through soreness and fatigue, you cherish recovery. Pain humbles you. It reminds you that greatness is earned, not given. It reminds you that to rise, you must first be willing to fall and get back up again. It keeps you grounded, focused, and grateful for every chance to grow stronger. Pain is the silent architect of strength. It builds the body the world can see and the spirit only you can feel. It demands sacrifice but rewards endurance. The iron doesn't lie. It tells the truth about your effort, your patience, and your resilience. Pain is not the enemy of the man on a mission, it's his companion. Because in every drop of sweat, in every muscle ache, and in every moment of strain, pain is whispering one thing: you're getting stronger. Discipline is the foundation of every great physique and every strong man. Without it, motivation fades, energy burns out, and goals remain dreams. Discipline is not about how you feel, it's about what you decide to do regardless of your feelings. It's waking up when your body says rest, pushing a step further when your muscles say enough, and staying consistent when no one is watching. Discipline doesn't care about moves or motivation. It thrives on structure, repetition, and purpose. The man who learns to master his discipline becomes unstoppable because he no longer depends on temporary bursts of inspiration. He depends on his commitment. Discipline is built in the small, quiet moments when you choose the gym over excuses, when you eat clean instead of giving in to cravings, when you rest instead of wasting hours on distractions. Every time you make the hard choice, you sharpen your discipline. It's like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes. But if you neglect it, it weakens, and laziness begins to take over. True discipline grows when you do what needs to be done, even when you don't want to do it. Because every disciplined action adds another brick to the fortress of your character. The disciplined man doesn't wait for the perfect time, he creates it. He doesn't say, I'll start tomorrow, because he knows tomorrow is built by what he does today. In the gym, discipline means showing up even when the weather's bad, even when you're tired, even when your mind tries to talk you out of it. It means sticking to your routine like it's your duty, because it is. Discipline transforms the ordinary man into a man of purpose, one who doesn't chase comfort but chases consistency. That consistency over time builds results that motivation could never achieve. When discipline becomes your way of life, you stop negotiating with yourself. You no longer ask, should I go to the gym? You simply go. You no longer ask, should I eat healthy? You simply eat for performance. Discipline removes the debate. It frees you from your emotions and replaces hesitation with habit. And those habits, repeated daily, form the structure of greatness. The disciplined man doesn't rely on external pressure. He carries his own standard within him. He demands excellence from himself because he knows no one else can do it for him. Discipline is also the bridge between goals and results. Everyone wants the reward, the strong body, the confidence, the respect, but few are willing to walk the bridge of repetition. That's why the disciplines stand out. They repeat what others avoid. They lift when others rest. They stay focused when others get distracted. Discipline is not glamorous. It's quiet, repetitive, and often unseen. But it's the only road that leads to lasting change. Without it, every effort becomes temporary, every gain fades, and every goal slips away. Discipline trains not just your body but your mind. It teaches you control over your habits, your time, and your emotions. When you become disciplined, you no longer act on impulse. You act on intention. You start to recognize the difference between what feels good now and what's good for you in the long run. That's when you begin to make decisions that align with your higher purpose, not your lower urges. And that's how discipline reshapes not just your physique, but your entire identity. It molds you into someone reliable, someone who can be trusted to do what he says he'll do. The man in man mode understands that discipline is a form of respect. Respect for his body, his time, and his goals. When he trains, he's not doing it for attention. He's doing it because it's his duty to take care of what Allah has given him. His strength is not arrogance, it's gratitude expressed through effort. He disciplines himself because he knows his body is a trust, and wasting it through laziness or neglect is not an option. This understanding gives discipline a deeper purpose. It's no longer just about building muscles, it's about honoring the gift of strength. Discipline creates inner peace. It may sound strange, but when you live with structure, you remove chaos. You stop feeling guilty for procrastination because you've done what needed to be done. You stop doubting your ability because your daily actions prove your consistency. The disciplined man sleeps better, thinks clearer, and walks with confidence because he knows he's in control of himself. He doesn't allow laziness or emotion to dictate his day. He commands his time with clarity and direction. That's the kind of power no one can take away. Discipline also separates the dreamers from the doers. Many people talk about what they want, but few are willing to endure the daily grind it takes to achieve it. Discipline doesn't care about talk. It only responds to action. You can read all the fitness plans, watch all the motivational videos, and set all the goals in the world. But without discipline, it all means nothing. Discipline is the execution of intention. It's what turns a plan into a reality and a wish into a result. That's why the disciplined man always rises, not because he's lucky, but because he's loyal to his mission. When discipline becomes who you are, not what you do, you stop seeing it as sacrifice. You start seeing it as freedom. Freedom from regret, from excuses, from wasted time. Because every act of discipline takes you further from weakness and closer to mastery. It's what keeps you grounded when life gets chaotic. It's what keeps you strong when motivation fades. Discipline doesn't give you everything you want instantly. It gives you everything you need to earn it. And in the gym, just like in life, that's the difference between those who dream and those who dominate. Pain is not your enemy, it's your greatest teacher. Every rep that burns, every muscle that screams, every bead of sweat that rolls down your face is teaching you something. About your limits, your patience, your strength, and your heart. Pain in the gym is not there to destroy you. It's there to reveal you. It separates those who are serious from those who are just pretending. Because when the weight gets heavy and your body starts to shake, the truth comes out. Pain strips away excuses and reveals your real character. That's when you learn who you are, and that's when growth begins. Pain teaches discipline better than comfort ever could. Comfort whispers, take it easy. Pain commands, rise higher. When you feel pain during a workout, it's a signal not to stop, but to pay attention. Your body is adapting, rebuilding, getting stronger. The soreness you feel is not weakness leaving your body. It's your body responding to the call of progress. That's how champions are made. They don't run from pain. They study it, learn from it, and grow through it. Pain becomes their personal coach, guiding them through every repetition, every challenge, and every setback. In life and in the gym, the lessons of pain are universal. Pain teaches patience because results don't come overnight. It teaches humility because even the strongest lifter has days when the weight feels heavier than usual. And it teaches gratitude because without pain, you would never appreciate strength. The man who runs from pain runs from growth, but the man who faces it head-on gains wisdom that no book or trainer can give. Pain refines you. It makes you sharper, tougher, and more aware of your inner power. The pain you feel today is not punishment, it's progress. Every sore muscle is a reminder that you showed up, that you didn't quit, that you gave something when most people gave up. Pain becomes your proof of effort. It's evidence that you are in the process of transformation. And transformation is never gentle, it's forged in the heat of struggle. When you embrace that, you stop fearing pain and start respecting it. You realize that every difficult set, every moment of discomfort, is building the future version of yourself that you're striving for. Pain teaches you mental strength like nothing else, because physical pain fades, but mental weakness can linger for a lifetime. When you push through a tough workout, you're not just training your muscles, you're training your mind to endure. You're proving to yourself that you can do hard things. And when you master that mindset in the gym, it carries into every area of your life. Suddenly, the challenges outside the gym don't feel so overwhelming because you've trained yourself to handle pressure, to stay calm in the storm, and to keep moving when things get hard. There's a reason the strongest people often have the hardest stories, because pain has been their teacher. It broke them, tested them, and rebuilt them stronger than before. Every scar, every ache, every sore morning was a lesson in endurance. And that endurance became power. Pain taught them that strength is not about avoiding struggle. It's about surviving it and coming out refined. The body grows under resistance, and so does the soul. Pain is not cruelty from the Creator. It's the forge through which your potential is shaped into strength. In the gym, pain is the proof of work. Without it, there is no signal that you've pushed far enough. If your muscles don't ache, your comfort zone is still holding you hostage. Growth doesn't live in ease, it lives in exhaustion. The iron tests you not just physically but mentally. When your arms tremble under the weight, you face a decision. Will you stop or will you continue? That decision defines the kind of man you are becoming. Pain challenges you to choose strength over surrender, persistence over comfort, and grit over weakness. Pain humbles you. It reminds you that you're not invincible, that there's always room to improve, always another level to reach. No matter how strong you get, pain will always find you, but that's not a curse, it's a blessing. Because it means you're still growing, still pushing, still alive in your pursuit of better. Pain keeps you grounded, it prevents arrogance and fuels hunger. It tells you that there's more to give, more to learn, more to become. When you embrace pain as your teacher, you stop resisting it and start respecting the lessons it brings. Pain also unites you with every other warrior on this path. Every person who has ever trained seriously knows what it feels like, the burn, the soreness, the fatigue. Pain becomes a universal language among those who chase greatness. It's what connects you to the discipline of every man who ever refused to quit. You start to see pain differently, not as a punishment, but as a badge of honor. Because pain means you're trying. Pain means you're alive in the battle. And those who feel it the most are often the ones growing the fastest. And as you continue your journey, pain becomes familiar. It doesn't scare you anymore. It becomes a sign that you're doing something right. You begin to crave that burn because you know it's a symbol of progress. The man who avoids pain stays the same. The man who embraces it evolves. Pain teaches you that nothing worth having comes easy, and everything great is earned through discomfort. The iron doesn't lie, it gives you exactly what you've worked for. Pain is the path, pain is the process, and every time you walk through it, you become a stronger version of yourself. When you walk out of the gym today, remember, you're not just leaving behind sweat, you're leaving behind weakness. Every rep you pushed, every drop of sweat that hit the floor, was a sign that the boy inside you is fading and the man is rising. You didn't come this far to stop now. You came to evolve, to become disciplined, focused, and unstoppable. That's what man mode truly means. It's not about looking strong for the world. It's about being strong when no one's watching. It's waking up when your body screams for rest, pushing the weight when your mind says quit, and showing up even when you feel nothing left inside. You're not here to be ordinary. You're here to conquer every weakness that tries to hold you back. So keep going, keep building, keep pushing through the pain until strength becomes your nature and consistency becomes your language. Remember, this journey isn't easy, but it's worth it. Because one day, when you stand in front of the mirror, you won't see doubt anymore. You'll see discipline, power, and purpose staring back at you. Collision, and if this speech lit a fire inside you, hit that subscribe button now. Join the community of warriors who refuse to quit. Every video on this channel is made to push you harder, to sharpen your mindset, and to remind you that you were built for greatness. So, subscribe, stay consistent, and let's grow stronger together.